Are you looking for a studio to get your next tattoo or piercing? The Tattoo Studio in Muncie, Indiana is the official tattoo studio of DJG Motorsports. Operating for 23 years, the Tattoo Studio has an experienced lineup of artists, including Josh, Ross, and Shannon, who are ready to work with you, whether you are getting your first tattoo or you are ready to get back in the chair. I can promise you that you will leave the studio happy. I have gotten all my tattoos from the Tattoo Studio and have been recommending them for years. To make an appointment, you can call 765-284-8429. The Tattoo Studio is open from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday.
Drivers, start your engines!
Yellow's out. Manning just about outran him. And he busted her.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 26. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
Been kind of busy, but it is what it is. We're back in the studio, prepping for a good weekend of racing. But anyway, the green flag is out. We're ready to roll 3Y with DJG.
Okay, sorry. I know I said I wasn't going to say much. Hiatus was just everyone got busy. There was no falling out. I made the joke that us shit-talking other people caught up with us, but it's just life happened. I got a new job. Jarrett, you've been busy with work. I know AJ's been busy with work. And
then on top of that, they just moved into a house, so they've been busy with that.
That, and then obviously this weekend's our last race on the schedule, and so we've had to get cars ready for that. So it's just been a lot. So no falling out that I know of. And it's just life happens.
Well, I messaged AJ the other day and I was like, "Hey, are you all right?" I was like, "What's going on?" I'm just making sure you're good. Like, I haven't heard from you a whole lot, but
I mean, other than the Snapchats, but yeah, I was worried about both you guys. I was like, I hope they're doing all right.
We're good. We're good.
I'm getting by.
Anyway, Dakota, would you like to introduce our guest today?
Yeah, good friend, Dylan Huckeby is joining us tonight.
Hello. It's my first time on a podcast, so I'm about to...
How does it make you feel?
Makes me feel special.
Yeah, my first time.
We had to restart the podcast like 4 times.
I'm not kidding.
Up.
Yeah, and then I had to write every word that I wanted to say down so I wouldn't mess up. It was awful. But now we're kicking.
Pretty solid.
Straightforward.
Yeah. So
into the deep.
All right. You want to kick us off with NASCAR?
All right, so the 2022 NASCAR Championship Playoffs kicked off at Darlington Raceway with a round of 16. Several playoff drivers had problems throughout the race, shuffling the point standings. Larson had engine troubles, and he also had a spin. Chase Elliott, who didn't seem right from the get-go, he had a wreck. And Briscoe, who was also involved in that wreck as well, he was able to continue on, but it's still, he wasn't the same. Heavy front-end damage. Put him way back. He just couldn't recover. Harvick had a fire, which was really interesting. That was surprising. That was like rubber buildup or something like that. And Kyle Busch had an engine failure.
Blew it up under yellow, man.
This is pre-RCR. So
Spain without the S.
Spain without it, dude. No, and also, I mean, it was a surprise to me. Eric Jones of Petty GMS won the race, Petty, they
held off Denny Hamlin to do so.
Yeah, and Denny Hamlin's always been pretty strong at Darlington. Like he's always been up there. For him to win there, and with Petty GMS, it looks like it's paying off that Petty going in with GMS, getting their stuff all right.
I do want to add, after the Harvick fire, Harvick made the comment about. What did he make a comment about cheap parts? Was it then, or was it the following week? I don't know. At some point, but NASCAR did immediately make a change to the car so that to help try and keep fire out of the cab of the vehicle. Which I think the fact that the fire even for that reason is possible is insane to me.
Yeah, you would think over the course of you got 500-mile races and 600-mile races, you would kind of have a preventative measure in there,
right?
Instead of just
just catches on fire.
They're like, hey guys, we got buildup. I don't know if we should do something about this. Maybe, but yeah, that race, it was. I mean, Chase Elliott surprised me the most out of that. How he was struggling at the beginning, and then he just spun and he was gone.
I think a lot of these drivers have had a little more trouble with these cars. Like the veterans have had issues like just handling with these cars.
Yeah, like Harvick. I mean, Harvick, Logano.
You know, the reason that Kurt Busch is out of his car right now. Self-spin during, what was it, qualifying or practice?
You brought up a good point. Sorry. So I wanted to talk about this when we came back too. Drivers have been saying from the start that these cars are stiffer. Obviously, we knew this was going to happen, but they feel like their concerns aren't being listened to by NASCAR.
Yes.
And, they're saying, hey, we need to change something. And NASCAR is like, there's nothing. Like, I was watching Door Bumper Clear, and I don't remember who the driver was at this point, but had made a comment about it. And NASCAR's like, well, you guys are going faster and hitting at different angles than before. And everyone's like, that's some horse shit. Like, that's not the case. Like, we're going the same speed. I mean, they did mention that they are having faster corner speed, but the wrecks aren't any different than before.
Right.
So, something's going on. And so it made me, I wanted to get your guys' your opinions on that, I guess. But also, it reminded me of when we first started talking about this and talking about the test that they were doing, the crash test, and the dummies being killed. So now it makes me wonder, was that the truth the whole time and NASCAR was downplaying it, or is it just a product of the car?
I personally don't think NASCAR could get away with downplaying it that much.
No.
That would end in some hefty lawsuits. And
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, when they came out and said that the car is great and safe and whatever, and then you have drivers like Kurt Busch, who's out with a concussion from what seemed like a pretty minor, I mean, the car did whip, but we've seen it before and drivers have walked away. And then you have drivers saying that these hits hurt harder or hurt more, and the hits are harder than the cars before because of how stiff they are.
But how much of that relies on the car versus, maybe his safety equipment or something? Maybe
there's just a fluke.
I don't know, or his age.
I've seen people bring that into question, but I don't know how well that or how well that would hold in an argument, just because the younger drivers are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was just curious on what you guys thought.
I mean, Noah, I saw I think it was a tweet or something a couple of days ago where Noah Gragson, it was I think it was Atlanta early in the year. He was driving for the Kaulig Cup car, the 16, and he said he'd rather he would take his chances going full speed in an Xfinity car going into a wall and be fine with it over taking a Cup car and like hitting it into a wall like a Kurt Busch kind of crash.
Right.
Because he said it just hurt like crazy.
Yeah.
And it was and that it's not just him. You know what I mean? It's even. I mean, it's Harvick, it's Busch, Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
There's multiple people saying stuff about it. NASCAR's got to take a stance at some point.
Something's got to change.
I mean, obviously, I don't think they're going to make changes mid-season, especially with how far we are in now. But I'm curious to see what work they do
in the off-season.
Yeah.
I think something's got to be done because none of these Cup guys are going to sit here and race cars that they're like, oh, well, if I scrape the wall, I'm going to hurt.
Right.
Like it's going to hurt me.
Well, and
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too. It's like when the next-gen cars were being discussed and introduced, and drivers were like, we want to say in this and all this other stuff, and like I said, they feel like NASCAR's not listening. I wonder... I lost my train of thought. Disregard.
Well, while you're trying to think, and sometimes try to think, but nothing happens.
Always.
Brain fart immediately.
I would like to say I've noticed this year, and maybe it's just me overlooking something, but, in past years, NASCAR guys get in a wreck and they'll just praise, thankful we have, like, cars, like, that can take hits like this, and, thankful for the safety. And I don't feel like anybody's mentioned that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Found it. I wonder what the relationship between the drivers and NASCAR is currently, especially with the safety of the next gen. But also, I understand that the cars are different. They're built different. They're supposed to be cost saving in the long run. You can tear the ass end off or the front end off and replace it in a short amount of time. But my thing is, why are they so different from the old cars and safety? Why? I mean, obviously it's different and stuff like that, right? But like, surely there's a solution to return the safety of the car to make it similar to the old car while still maintaining the whole idea of next gen.
Now, I could be totally wrong on this whole situation. I may say this, and some of you be like, "You have no idea what the hell you're talking about," which is fine. But from my understanding, all these parts are coming from Dallara, IndyCar.
Yep.
And I think that's the issue. You know,
I agree.
So, like,
yeah,
IndyCar, when they wreck, they're designed to break apart.
Yeah.
NASCAR is not. So I wonder if, like, there's some sort of
if they're trying to, like, carry
like
the two
a
over.
hybrid. Yeah.
It's interesting. I personally hope that they do something in the off season. Am I confident that they will? I don't know. Just because it's like, but then if they don't, drivers are going to be pissed. And I don't know how well that's going to carry over into 2023, in my opinion.
I think it's going to hurt the sport a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, though, like, the drivers, what are they going to do? Just not do their job?
Well, I was gonna ask, do you think drivers take a stand in some sort of protest and not race, or do you think?
Well, I mean, we've seen other sports go on lockout or whatever it is, strike, per se, whatever they call it.
Hell, NASCAR's done it before, but it's been like 50 years. So,
I mean, I can see it happen.
I mean, do you think it's? I mean, I think it is that serious. There's safeties at risk, but I hope. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see that play out, though.
I would hate it just because I'm like, well, what am I going to do if you guys aren't racing? What am I going to watch?
I think that I personally think you say that. I think that might be the downfall of the sport if they were to let that happen. I think NASCAR would be over for good.
Potentially so.
Anyways, moving on to Kansas Speedway. Harvick was the first playoff driver to experience trouble in the second round of 16 after he made hard contact with the outside wall, which resulted from contact from another driver. Reddick also made hard contact with the outside wall after experiencing after experiencing a tire failure. Kyle Busch also had bad luck, he's been just as he experienced a spin out of turn 4 in stage 2. Bubba Wallace went on to win the race, which he had a really strong car, and like
he's been performing pretty well lately.
Yeah,
Bristol not so much. Had some issues at Bristol and ended up like 90 laps down, but otherwise his performance has been pretty solid. Like, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, especially there at Kansas because he was the whole top 10 was all playoff drivers, and here this guy is. He's right up here mixing it up. And I mean, no discredit to him. He hasn't been kind of in that situation the whole season like those guys have, but here he is mixing it up at Kansas, and it's like she's taking it to him.
Right.
And he won it.
And I think everybody can admit Bubba Wallace is a really good super speedway racer.
Yes.
He always manages to put himself in good spots. So Kansas definitely came as a surprise that he won.
Yeah, especially a mile and a half, yeah. And it's at the completion of race 2 in the round of 16. Busch was -2. And is that's below the cut line, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Kyle Busch -2 below the cut line. Austin Dillon was -3. Chase Briscoe was -9, and Harvick was -35. Which that's savvy. I mean, Harvick. Yeah. At that point, everybody else can kind of have a solid day, but Harvick's like, all right, dude, you gotta do something. But yeah.
On to the best race of the season.
Yeah, Bristol. Dude, Bristol's
Chase Elliott ran that race like 2 weeks ago.
Off to Bristol. No, Chase, come on. We gotta go on somewhere else. Come here. Several drivers experienced right front tire failures, but Cindric was the first playoff driver to have troubles with the spin, a tire falling off pit road, which that was pretty common at Bristol.
Yeah.
And a broken rear end, which his teammate also had the same kind of problem, Brian Blaney.
A lot of the Fords, they made it several comments about how it was mainly the Fords having right front issues.
Yeah, because Keselowski also had a problem.
Which he ended up running the whole first stage on the same set of tires, and they were like, well, he's not having any issues. And then eventually...
Yeah, and then he did, and it was like it bit him. It's like, yeah, you just had to say something here. But Ford did eventually win that race, which is a good thing.
Yes.
But, lost my train of thought. Hamlin had made contact with the outside wall, which resulted in heavy damage. Kyle Busch, reoccurring theme, experienced yet another engine failure, which sank him in the point standings. That's got to be the crappiest way to really, because at that point you know your season, your hopes of winning a championship are over,
right?
And it's because of your engine. It's not
right
some down to the wire kind of thing. But Suarez was also involved in a wreck, which also hurt him in the standings. And in the third stage, go away, fly. In the third stage, Harvick lost a wheel on pit road. Cue back to our point of Ford's losing wheels, having tire problems.
Yeah.
He had a problem, but like I said, a Ford eventually won the race, which was Chris Buescher, which was surprising. That was RFK's first victory as a team, as under the Roush
Fenway Keselowski?
Yes, RFK. Under, the Roush Fenway Keselowski banner.
Yep.
Which is pretty nice. I mean, you kind of would have hoped it would have been Keselowski, being him underneath the banner, but still. Buescher's a hell of a race driver.
I feel like he's a name that's kind of come up a lot this year. Like, he's definitely been up towards the front several times. Mm-hmm. Impressed me a lot.
Mm-hmm. He's been around for a minute too. I mean, he's bounced around. Like he was with Roush Fenway originally, mm-hmm. and then he went to Front Row, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And then now he's bounced back to Roush Fenway Keselowski. I mean, he was there. I believe he was there. Yeah, he was there before Keselowski. But I mean, I'm good to see that he. I think this is his first win that wasn't under. Because I think his first win was at Talladega, and it was a rain shortened race, wasn't it?
Yep.
I believe you're right.
Yep. So now he's finally, at Bristol of all places too.
I want to go to this race next year. Bristol night race. Bucket list.
Business expense.
Yeah, I know, right? I would like to add, so as you've heard, Kyle Busch had 2 engine failures in 3 playoff races.
Yes.
And, of course, Hunter, Dakota's brother, being a Kyle Busch lover, made the comment that he was like, someone's messing with his stuff.
So
they were talking about it at the racetrack.
Believe it or not,
shit.
I was going to say Hunter's not the only one that has conspiracy theories about this race. So I saw on TikTok that one of the Ford teams, I can't remember who, was being investigated by NASCAR because they thought that they just parked him to help their teammate. I think it was Cindric, maybe. Don't quote me on that. Mm. So NASCAR officials had to go to the garage and determine whether or not that car was retirable. They found out it was, but people were pissed. Well, then Hunter and, like you said, commentators, I didn't get to watch this race, but there was conspiracy theories about maybe Joe Gibbs not helping Kyle continue on in the playoffs with the engine trouble, and then
it had to do
something about with
Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs
not parking.
Were both off, like, behind pit wall.
Yep.
And they sent Bubba Wallace back out, which eventually passed Kyle Busch on the track by making up laps, so Kyle Busch, when his engine blew, he was like 5 points. No, he was like right on the cut line or something like that. And then another wreck happened, and that put Kyle Busch like 5 points to the good. So he was still in. And so then it became a battle with like Cindric and who was it?
I don't.
Who was the last one to make it in? I don't remember. Anyway, so like it came out. I don't know. He ended up below the cut line at the end of the race, but at one point he was like 5 points to the good after he had already blown his engine up and was off the track.
Well, I was going to say when I went back to watch highlights, I remember the broadcaster said that like 3 of the cars had to pass him for him to fall below.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like that close anyway.
And that's where they were talking about, how, like, why would they send Bubba Wallace back out? Because Toyota, I think at one point Ty Gibbs was going to go back out. He didn't. But they were like, well, why would they send them back out if Kyle Busch is still in the playoffs? And if they send them out after he's out, like, that's 2 positions he's going to lose. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, well, Toyota's just kind of screwing Kyle Busch and this, that, and the other. So,
do you think they would do that, though? I mean, they did it, but do you think it was ill will?
No, and here's why I don't think it was an issue that Bubba Wallace went back out. Bubba's still racing for an owner's championship in Kurt's car. If he was still in his car and just out there to be out there, then yeah, absolutely. But because Bubba's still racing for an owner's championship, I see no issue with it.
That was my thoughts, too, when we talked about it with Hunter. Because I was like, why would another team just call it quits when they could still go on? Like, I understand that it's shitty on Toyota's part, but it's like, if we were racing the same thing and two of us had bad luck, I'm not going to sit somebody else out to save my ass.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's still like, it is what it is.
Nor would I expect you to. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I can't race, neither can you.
Do I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Right. Now,
I'm, out there, I'm at the track to race. You know?
Yeah.
I'll save that question for the next topic, but yeah.
But anyways, the drivers that were eliminated were Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch, lost my train of thought, Austin Dillon, and Kevin Harvick, which, one last thing, I saw somebody say that they had another conspiracy theory about how all three of these guys have a tie to the past, current, and future of RCR. And they were like, they're just trying to get all the RCR drivers out of the playoffs. And I was like, okay, that's kind of a stretch, but I can see it. I just thought that was a little funny thing. I was like, come on. But the round of 12 will kick off this Sunday at Texas Motor Speedway, with the round of 8 being decided at the Charlotte Roval on October 9th. That's going to be pretty interesting.
That might be a messy race.
The Roval?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott, wasn't that whole ordeal at the
Yep.
Roval last year?
It sure was. That was
Round
great.
2, fight.
Oh, man.
I remember Twitter. I made some funny-ass tweets.
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
Kevin Harvick's in his 40s. He's still trying to fight, man. I respect it. But the 2023 schedule, on September 14th, NASCAR unveiled their 2023 schedule. It will also host the LA Coliseum for the Busch Light Clash, which I like the change from a super speedway, which, I mean, restrictor plate, well, not restrictor plate anymore, but super speedway racing is fun in its own way, but also in the same way that short track racing is pretty.
I'll take short track racing over super speedway 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, dude. It's I love it. And there's barely any room on that track to do anything.
Right.
But also, the 2023 NASCAR All-Star Race will be hosted at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
I'm so excited for that.
I thought that was like one of those random things where somebody's just like, hey, guys, it's going to be here. You know, and I was just going to get debated or something, and somebody's going to, you know, haha, it's back at Charlotte. No, it was an actual thing.
I am surprised that they were able to, because I mean, like,
Yeah.
the revival was very short period of time,
I mean, it was just like bam.
and then for them to get NASCAR to be like, all right, we're coming back
Yeah.
in a short amount of time, I'm like, I hope that
to Winchester.
I'm on that boat till the day I fucking die. But I'm telling you right now, there's people. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. I know, but it should happen. Okay,
Exactly.
Let's make it happen.
Let a man dream.
Dude.
Yeah.
And also, the Craftsman Truck Series will make their return to the Milwaukee Mile, as well as Lucas Oil Raceway Park. It's also, I mean, going back, Craftsman Truck Series is coming back for the first time since like 2008, 2009.
It's exciting.
It's like my childhood's coming back a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
I'm also renewing my our tickets for Lucas Oil. So
Yeah, buddy.
hit me up.
Dude, that was that. I wasn't there with you guys, but that
You should go this time around. Hopefully, it's a cutoff race too. Or yeah, it is, ain't it?
it was this year
I
for the
think-
trucks. Yeah.
So it is next year too. They're making it a cutoff race, so that'll be exciting.
Oh, a
was
cutoff
the opening race.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Excuse me. It'll be the kickoff of the
Playoffs.
yes. Thank you.
It was the kickoff this year, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
What
yeah.
I don't understand is, so you have the truck playoff started, the Cup Series playoff started. Xfinity hasn't started their playoffs yet, have they?
I thought they have. I think they have.
Have they?
I think so.
No, because I don't think. I think
haven't-
the last race was the last race before the playoffs because Noah Gregson's won 3 in a row,
Uh huh.
and I think that was the last race before the playoffs.
I'll fact check.
I thought I saw them say something like no, never mind. That was something
Because
different.
I thought I was getting ready to go there too.
Yeah,
I know. So their playoffs start this Sunday.
That's
at
what I
Texas.
thought.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
you would think it would go in order: the trucks, Xfinity, and then the Cup.
Yeah.
That-
But
Hey.
then again, the trucks haven't raced every weekend since then either. They have a couple of
Yeah.
off weeks.
Because they just came back from what, like a 2-3 week,
Something like that.
something long. It was long.
Shout out to Noah Gragson for a 3-peat.
Yeah, that dude. Every time he burns
Pukes on
out,
himself every race.
except for Kansas, that was shortened.
Yeah.
That was funny. He tried to get the dude. He was trying to get them to like let him burn it out.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him burn it out. And then he tried to get somebody to hop in his car to take it back to victory lane. And he was like, he can't get in the car. You could hear this all on live television, dude. He was like, he was just getting disappointed one after the other, even after he won the race. He was like, man, I can't even put this dude in the ar. Shit. But yeah, he's been on a tear, dude. And when he burns it down. Like every single race. Like it's like, oh, we need to reuse this motor? Just burn it to the ground. We're good. Just rebuild it.
I will say, I wish more I think drivers should be their own selves, but I wish more drivers would be like Noah. I think it's good for the sport.
Oh, yeah.
So much personality.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, where did I just leave off? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, the Craftsman trucks. It is also noted that this will be the last year that NASCAR will run on the 2 Mile Auto Club Speedway as the track prepares to transition to a short track format. That's pretty interesting, which...
I'm all for short tracks, but I feel
Yeah.
like there was other short tracks that already existed they could utilize instead.
That's
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Dakota and I have said that since day one.
That's my entire point. It's like, why would you invest so much money to change a track when you could go out and invest money into North Wilkesboro?
Yes.
Or, Myrtle Beach. Like these old tracks that NASCAR used to race at that we let die because of, there was just not a lot of financial support. It's frustrating to me, but whatever.
yeah.
I don't run NASCAR.
No, yeah, I get that 100%. Anderson, Mount Lawn, Salem.
Trucks on Mount Lawn.
That would be crazy, actually.
They should do different than the LA Coliseum.
30-something going into the short turn. That'd be wild, dude.
They wouldn't get out of second gear the whole track.
No.
They could probably get by on first.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably pretty close.
You crazy, dude. Stop. Oh, my God. All right. The series will race Bristol Dirt on April 9th and the Chicago Street Race on July 2nd. Phoenix will host the 2023 championship race, and that's talking about the Cup.
Boo. All three of them.
All three of them are doing that? I meant like Bristol Dirt. Bristol Dirt and Chicago Street Race are just Cup, right? As far
Do the trucks? I think the trucks run at Bristol Dirt. I don't think Xfinity does.
Yes.
But the Cup Series will be the one racing on Chicago
Street.
Thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't like the idea, mainly because I'm not a huge road course fan anyway. But I think it's extremely different. We'll see how it goes. It might blow me out of the water, and I'm just like, hey, this is super cool.
Yeah.
Or it might be, this is super boring. Nobody can pass. Let's just follow the leader.
But here's the thing. No offense. Well, no, full offense to NASCAR. Chicago Street Course could be the shittiest race on the schedule, and they'd be like, let's do it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean, I've heard from the IndyCar side and stuff like that when they do difference between street and actual courses. It's it eats up.
It destroys.
Yes, it destroys. And I don't see that with what NASCAR's running right now with their tires. They got a skinnier tire on there right now. With them running on a street course, an everyday course that everybody drives on. Just right into the wall, just gone.
If they can figure out a racing tire that runs in the rain, surely they can figure something out for the street.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can find something like a harder compound or something. Yes.
Yeah.
Guy's been formulating for years. Come on, find something.
We'll
We
see.
got something here.
We'll see when we get there. I do not like Phoenix hosting the championship race.
I still will die on this hill, too. I think they should move it around like the Super Bowl
Yes.
and let tracks and cities bid on it. They might make them more money in the long run. Hey, NASCAR, call me.
Can you imagine a super speedway finale? Or like you're coming like four wide like to
Someone
the finish
would
line of Talladega?
Guaranteed, someone dies.
You think?
I'm dead
just gone.
serious.
I
It
mean,
might be a
yeah.
fan in the stands, but someone is dying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can't tell me guys racing for the championship on a super speedway
okay.
would make some super ballsy moves like that.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough, but what's the odds that like the top 4 are running together anyway? I mean, well, I guess the super speedway it is pretty. I mean, I guess the favor would be there in the odds, but
Yeah,
I don't know. We should try it. Fuck it.
might as well.
They put a race in Chicago.
Just as dangerous. Oh. All right, we got some Kyle Busch updates.
Boo.
On September 13th, it was officially announced that Kyle Busch would join RCR for the 2023 season. It is a multi-year contract. With this announcement, it was also announced that Busch would have the opportunity to compete in the Indianapolis 500 if he could find a Chevrolet team. To add on to that, I don't know if you have it in the notes or not, there have been talks with McLaren teams.
Yep.
So
Ooh.
Not in the notes, but yes.
I'm interested to see how that works out. I don't like Kyle Busch at all, but I think Kyle Busch in the Indy 500, I would support him just because I'm a NASCAR fan. NASCAR drivers in the Indy 500, of course. Like I like Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to say
driving
when
IndyCar
like Jimmy
now.
Johnson was in it.
Exactly. I don't necessarily prefer to watch the Indy 5. Well, I mean, in person, just because the track's so big. Like that's another reason why I don't like super speedway racing. You only see part of the track, and then it's like, okay, well, now what?
True. Yeah.
But anyway, Austin Dillon took credit for setting up the meeting between Busch and his grandfather, Richard Childress. As far as Busch's replacement at JGR, it is more than likely Ty Gibbs. So what do we think about Ty Gibbs moving up so early?
I say the same thing that I always say. I don't know though. Ty Gibbs, I think, might be the exception here.
Ty Gibbs is special, dude.
I mean, he's
yeah.
born talented, but I don't know. I always revert back to what I always say, and that's I hope that they're not rushing these drivers and killing their careers because it typically seems to happen that way. But like I said, Ty seems to be the exception too, so I don't know.
Is this his first year full-time Xfinity?
I believe so because
And he's tied. Well, no, Noah has one more win than him now. He was tied with Noah Gragson for most wins at 5, I believe. And now Noah has 6. Something like that. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. So, I mean, that's impressive on its own. He won the first race he ever ran in an Xfinity car. So, he might be, especially if he goes to Joe Gibbs, like he's going to be in good equipment. So
Oh, yeah.
he'll probably go out there and win a ton of races in the Cup Series his first year, too. I could be wrong just because we've seen, it was 19 different winners now?
yeah,
18, 19 different
Yep.
winners
That's
this
wild.
season? That blows my mind.
but
That's like half the field.
as much shit talk as I do on this car, I like that aspect about it. That we're not seeing the same winners. We're seeing, like you said earlier, Chris Buescher is being talked about more. I think Chris Buescher's good in his own right, but he wasn't talked about before.
Yeah.
And then we had Ross Chastain go on a tear.
Daniel
Suarez.
Suarez,
Like,
Bubba,
yeah,
and
exactly.
drivers that we weren't talking about a year ago. So, real quick, a couple questions. One, do you think Toyota did Kyle dirty? Or do you think it's just business?
I think it's just business. I think Kyle knows that.
Yeah.
I think Kyle dug this hole himself because of his personality. And he's aware of it.
He seemed like before the deal with RCR, he seemed so much more nicer, but like a switch has flipped immediately. Like after he got this deal, like he's back to being like it. Honestly, I feel like a douche, really, because he was like, car's just not good. Da, 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 da. He was being nice with the media. Now he's like, what do you want me to say? Da, 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 da. It's like now he's back to what he was. But
Although, I could understand it in certain situations.
yeah.
Like, blowing up 2 engines in 3 races, I would be very mad about that, too. So, like, that is understandable. Like, I totally get the being a douche about that. Like, that, I get that. But as far as, like, I spun. Like, it was a me issue, and then you're, like, that's on you, bub. Like, so, I don't know.
Follow-up question. I have like 3 questions, so bear with me. Follow-up question. Do you think Toyota really tried to keep him?
No. Not as hard as they could have. Which kind of surprises me because, Kyle Busch Motorsports and the Toyota Racing Development are kind of like... So... I don't know.
There's not much. I mean, down there. I mean, in the truck series, it's Kyle Busch Motorsports and ThorSport that are like the main Toyota catalyst down there. But now you're taking that out. You would think that would play some sort of thing, because Toyota would be happy. Kyle Busch would be happy to get a new contract or something. You know what I mean? There's no way that he isn't bringing in like at least one sponsor that can, cover a whole year like M&M's. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird situation, really.
Him making the point about ThorSport brought something to my. This is just kind of like a theory here, or whatever. Do you think that ThorSport switching to Toyota had anything to do with them not wanting to keep Kyle Busch around? Because there's so many Toyotas in the truck series now.
I have an opinion on this. First of all, I want to say you guys are awesome. I'm glad we all think alike, because that was my next question about KBM. My thought process on this, and we talked about before we went on our hiatus, was I don't think drivers at ThorSport are looking to move up.
No.
So I don't think and I don't think Thor. I mean, I'm sure Thor would probably want to take on that role as a development team, but they have drivers who are cool with where they're at.
Matt Crafton's been in the truck series for 72 years.
Yeah, he's been there a career. Yeah,
so since he was like 2, so it's like, I think that was my next question was, do you think Toyota fucked up by losing KBM? Because, like you said, ThorSport is the only other Toyota powerhouse. But if ThorSport's like, we don't want that responsibility, we don't want to lose our drivers, our drivers are fine with where we're at, what do you think is going to happen? Yeah. So now you don't have a development team. But then on the flip side of that, I remember people talking about, well, KBM really kind of lost its purpose because the last couple of Toyota drivers that we've seen didn't even race in trucks. They went straight to Xfinity, Ty Gibbs being one of them. So it's like, was there really a need for KBM to be a development team anymore? I think in the future, it's probably going to have to be a situation where they have to find a development team now, because but I don't know though.
Kyle Busch's downfall was whenever he stopped with the super late model teams, like his Kyle Busch Motorsports, the late model teams.
Yeah. Now you say it, I haven't seen any of that at all.
He stopped it, didn't he? It was a while ago, and then I don't know if he ever started it back up.
Yeah, because I don't think any of his, because everyone else is racing for Donnie Wilson now.
Yep.
So I don't know if he sold out to him or I don't know what that whole deal is. But my thing is that was it. My other point was like the pipeline seems to be stale. How many people are we seeing move up from late models or anything like that?
That all boils down to money. Super late models in general are just falling off because nobody can afford to do it.
Oh, right. Dude, it's so expensive.
So it's like, I think the drivers that we see in all 3, maybe 4, if you want to include ARCA, are the drivers that we're going to see for the rest of our lifetime. I mean, for a while anyway, maybe not a lifetime, but like, because it's like the pipeline isn't there anymore. Because who else is moving up?
Even the ARCA series is it's kind of boring.
It's to the point where, I mean, I've seen a lot of people say like, there's no need for it.
No.
It's like after that wreck at the dirt track, they're like, this is a shit show. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe Toyota sees something different and is like, hey, we don't need a development team, so why are we dumping all this money into this team when we could be maybe spreading out our resources more? You know what I mean? So
start a development like Crown Vic team. Something.
I feel like also they don't want to send them to the truck series because the ARCA car, aside from the tires being General Tire to Goodyear, it's almost like going from an ARCA car to an Xfinity car is kind of just a step up. Instead of going to a truck, there's like a step down.
Right.
The truck would be different than an ARCA car than like an ARCA car to an Xfinity car. They want to. I mean, you think about it. The main series is a car. It's not a truck.
I feel like the truck definitely just kind of throws everything for a loop
in a way. I mean, it's something you can probably do for like fun if you want to learn truck.
Yeah,
but I don't think many people think of it because I've heard people say that the truck handles different than the Xfinity car and the Cup car. So maybe that just plays a factor.
I can attest to that. iRacing tells me enough.
Me too.
Yeah,
but it just a lot of people just say the truck just doesn't. I mean, it handles differently than the Xfinity car and the ARCA car and stuff. So why would there be a need to go that way? And that might be what they're thinking too.
Right.
I mean, and I think Dakota and I agree on this. I don't know where you stand on it, but Xfinity is, I think, in my opinion, is better than the Cup. Like just the racing that it provides. Like, especially, you know, I'm going to use last year's Bristol night race as an example. One of the best races I've ever watched in my entire life.
That was one where AJ Allmendinger and
was it Cindric?
I think so.
At the line.
Yep, and
at the
they
line.
wrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think the Xfinity Racing product is better. I think the Cup Series, it's hit or miss. Depends on the track and what's going on. But last question that I just thought of, silly question. Do you think Chevrolet won in this contract?
I don't know, because I don't know what Chevy's plans are with Kyle Busch. Or is there going to be a Kyle Busch Motorsports transition to Chevrolet? Or is the Kyle Busch Motorsports deal kind of just...
They're going to Chevy.
They are?
Yeah. So the truck team will be a Chevy team.
But then how do you think Chevy, as far as... Do you think that the success that Chevy will have with Kyle Busch Motorsports will amount to anything like domination like the Toyotas did?
I think so because... Well, I don't know, though, because, you know, they would have to get Chevy into the shop and run Chevy. So it could be like a rough first couple seasons, but if they're able to be just as dominant at Chevy as they were at Toyota, I don't think Chevy loses in this case. What I would have liked to have seen, and I know people are going to hate me on this, I would have liked KBM to go to a Ford team, only because Ford is... I mean, I'm a fan of Ford, but Ford is struggling. And, like, I read an article where it was like, across the 3 series, I think it was Toyota and Ford have to kind of work together against Chevy, or one of, like, there was 2 teams having to work together against the other one because there wasn't very many of them.
I mean, there's only a couple Fords in the truck series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see many.
There's very select few in the Xfinity series.
I think Riley Herbst might be one of the only 2, or whatever.
And there's Riley Herbst, and there's David Gilliland Motorsports, which is usually Tanner and his brother.
Taylor and Tanner.
Yes, Taylor and Tanner, I believe it is, and he runs ARCA too. But yeah, you don't see many other than like David Gilliland.
I think they're the only development team.
Yeah.
So,
and they got Haley Deegan down there in the trucks.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But so Chance. You don't know Chance. Chance is my best friend from college. But Chance was explaining this to me one day about how Ford approaches everything as far as, like, their funding, and, like, it's super weird compared to everybody else. Like, they don't advertise nothing about, like, their, like, NASCAR teams or anything. Like, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go out of their way to do it. Like, it's all kind of just, like, under the table.
Mm-hmm.
So... That might be part of their issue.
I've always thought that too, though. It's like it always seemed like they weren't willing to commit 100% compared to the other 2 teams. I've always thought that, since being a fan of racing and actually paying attention to manufacturers, they don't seem 100% committed to. I don't think they'll leave the sport per se, but not especially NASCAR side. I mean, I've seen more about like their road course teams more than their NASCAR teams, and which sucks because it's like they could utilize Haley Deegan, for example. I mean, with her personality and her status, I mean, she's one of the drivers that they have at their disposal that they could easily use for marketing. And
never won a truck race, and she's like the most popular driver by a long shot. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's well known. I mean, her dad's Brian Deegan. You know what I mean? Everybody knows. Well, I'd like to say that everybody really knows, but I mean, Brian Deegan's. He's been known for X Games and shit like that. So a lot of people, I mean, come on, Ford. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. If we have time, can we talk about the Bristol 1000 at the end?
yes.
If we have time, because I really want to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Oh, is that race that she was in?
Yeah.
And then they
Cletus
hit the
McFarlane race that they barely had roll cages in, these Crown Vics.
Yeah.
Dude, that was
hard.
Yeah.
I saw, dude, every camera angle, you couldn't see the crash because
Because after she hits, the camera just
flicks.
Well, the one that was like facing out, you see the car hit and it just like folds and then it goes black. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Is it oops?
I made a comment to Cletus on his YouTube.
You
I don't
did?
think he saw it, but someone else did, and we got into a little fight. But I was because he was like, I don't know what else we could do. Like, leave your thoughts below. And I like told him, I was like, we race Crown Vics up here, and I think like maybe for your smaller tracks, what your setup is fine. I don't know. I would personally like to have as many bars as possible, but running a track like Bristol, that wasn't enough. And I was like, the fact that nobody got seriously hurt or even died, you're lucky, my guy.
I mean, it bent her seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it folded her seat, and I'm like, And I don't know.
Like, we have to have what we have in our cars to run at Mount Lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we get up to 60, 65, 70 miles an hour in the convicts, if we're lucky.
I mean, Mount Lawn doesn't even have safer barriers either. That's the thing.
But then you go to a track like Winchester or Bristol, comparable. Obviously, they both claim to be world's fastest half mile.
Yeah.
But, like, you can't. There's no way I would ever. Like, I was scared to go to Winchester in my car with the safety that's on my car.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess the people that were driving know the difference. Like, everybody that was there knew enough to know that wasn't safe.
That was my thing, too. It's like, surely to God, you know that, like, maybe we should do something. And I know, like, time and money and all that stuff play a factor in that. But I'm like, if you can't invest into your safety, the bare minimum, because that's not bare minimum. 3 bars and a seat.
Like below minimum.
Yeah. Then maybe don't do it.
Yeah.
And here's my thing.
Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a race engineer to know that that's not enough.
For Haley Deegan's sake, I'm sure DGR had to approve of her even doing that event.
They have
right?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people were making that comment, too. Like, they're like, good luck ever getting her back because her team won't allow it.
Yeah.
If that's how it is. Because, I mean, she was hurt.
Yeah.
A few guys were. And so, I don't know. I would not have. I mean, I would love to race in one of his races. I think it'd be fun, but I would not strap into one of those cars the way it is.
No.
I'd be like, add a few more bars.
The one thing you can't skimp on is safety, especially like a place like that, dude. You know it's going to be fast and it's going to be quick.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't have spotters, which is something I suggested. Like, maybe have spotters for this track. Mm-hmm. I don't know how their race control worked. I don't know if they were like, hey, there's a wreck, but it seemed like nobody, like Cletus even said, like, I didn't know about it until I was right on it and then got involved in it. I'm like, I hope moving forward that they do something different about that so that we don't see something like that happen again. But
like, I understand they want it to be fun, and you can still have it be fun. But
I mean, I don't race the Crown Vics at Mount Lawn, but it seems like everyone that runs them for the most part have fun. Mm-hmm. And they put up a good race.
I got lapped 3 times the last time I ran. I had a blast.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Said, I don't give a shit. I'm out here racing.
Right.
Come on, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on that tangent.
You're good.
No, you're good.
Now we're going to shift to Eldora, the Dream. And then they postponed it early in the year. You and I were there. Somebody lost their rig. Do you know this story?
No.
Oh,
Might be.
Boy.
I need to know.
I have a picture of someone.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Say it again. What? Somebody lost their what?
rig.
The rig?
The rig.
What?
Just tell a story.
Okay.
It's funny.
I got to hear this, yeah.
Okay.
Let me know.
So we have talked about this before on the podcast, so most of our viewers have probably heard this story, but you're going to hear it again, and I hope it's just as funny. So we're at Eldora, and we're sitting in the stands, and it starts to rain. They get like 16 laps into this race or something like that. And we're like, well, it's raining pretty hard. It doesn't look like it's going to stop. We're going to go sit in the car and see if they call it, or if not, we'll come back in.
Yeah.
So we're walking out to the car, and it's a long walk from where we were parked to the track.
Mm-hmm.
We get out there, it's raining, whatever, and we walk past the car that was next to us, and my grandpa just nonchalantly walks by it, looks down what's on the ground, and goes, somebody lost their rig. Just keeps walking. And so we get up, and we get to look at it, and someone had literally pooped on the wheel of the car next to us.
I thought this was something completely different than that. But I remember you have said that before to me at the track, and I remember you saying stuff about that, and I was glad I wasn't there to smell that.
Yeah.
I didn't smell it. I didn't smell it.
It was just there?
It was just there.
Oh, my gosh.
But it was the funniest thing ever. And then we're standing out by our vehicle.
Yeah.
And the people come out and get in their car and just leave, and like didn't acknowledge it whatsoever.
I was going to say, from my perspective, I almost stepped in it, and then I heard his grandpa say that, and everyone starts laughing. I'm like, what's going on? And I see it, and I'm like, oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
And I start laughing.
Anyways.
But I was admiring the car. It was like a brand new freaking
really
like
nice.
Lincoln like Expedition or Ford Expedition. So that's a nice car. And then I saw it. Well, then we were chilling in the back, and I see the mirrors fold out, and the lights flash. I'm like, oh shit, they're coming.
Literally.
And I was And so like I ran to the side of the car, and I'm bent down like laughing. I'm like, I don't want them to see me or hear me laughing. They fucking walked right past. There's no way in hell they didn't see that.
That's why I think it had to be one of them. It It had to be.
Because it had.
Yeah, they just didn't want to they didn't want to
There
be
was
like
literally porta-johns like right behind us.
They weren't making it.
No.
It was like from the top of the wheel into the brake assembly. There was a pad somewhere. I don't know if they...
somebody.
We still don't know if they used it to wipe or if it just blew off. When they let it go, it just blew off.
At that point, I don't even want to know, dude. You just shit on a wheel. I'm just going to keep going.
And then they rolled away. I'm like, that shit was like flicking out when they were going.
At least it was raining, so it probably washed it off pretty quick. I hope so.
Somebody was pre-gaming, dude. Really hard.
Gosh.
Like right here. Drop the
in
drawers.
In broad daylight, too. That's the thing.
Yeah, and like we were by the roadway, so it's like they had to see somebody squatting. If that's what happened, unless they just stood there and it just, I don't know.
I said
awkward eye contact.
I wish we would have had a Tesla because you know how Teslas like record the surrounding.
Oh
area.
God!
I was like, that would have been hilarious.
Some dude shitting on.
And then I saw your grandpa when you guys came out.
That Elon?
Whatever day you guys were out here working
Wednesday.
on the car. He was like, "Have you seen anyone else lose their rig?" And I was like, "No, but Winchester's right around the corner."
Give it time. Come on.
It's bound to happen. All right, the postponing of the Dream was held and completed on September 7th. Top 10: Brandon Overton, Chris Madden, Tim McCready, Jonathan Davenport, Brandon Shepard, Dale McDowell, Kyle Strickler, Josh Rice, Brian Shirley, and Kyle Bronson. I didn't watch it. I started to, but I was tired, so I went to bed. But Brandon Overton has officially won the last 3 Dreams because they had both of them on the same weekend last year because they didn't do it the year before due to COVID. So they had both events last year. He won both of them, and then he won this year. So 3 in a row, pretty impressive. I'd say he's got Eldora figured out, which is kind of I'm kind of surprised he didn't win the $1 million.
Yeah. But that was a good race.
That was a really good race.
Have you ever been to Eldora?
No, I've never been. I was actually about to say I've never been.
Racing
okay.
tonight, actually, sprint cars.
All right, I'm going.
The 4 Crowns there.
No.
Tonight?
Yeah.
I'll pull that stuff up on
What time is it? I think
the broadcast. We'll take a business expense to Eldora, too. And PRI. That's in the works.
Yep.
Ooh. You didn't hear me say that, though. That's a surprise.
Ears closed.
But no, Eldora is probably like...
It's amazing. I mean, it was crazy, but it was amazing.
I'll say I've heard about it, and everybody's like, "Dude, you gotta go, and it's like, man, I want to go, but I just don't know when.
Okay, well, I'll go. We'll find a time.
Get my car covered in dirt again. I'll be all right.
Oh, I forgot to put who the Crown Vic winner was. It was Daniel something, by the way. I don't know his last name.
What his name?
I don't think it's Daniel Duvall, is it?
Mystery Man.
I think it is. I think it is Daniel Duvall.
No.
I'm almost positive.
It's one of the Kentucky boys.
Yeah. I've shared it on Facebook. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. I suck at show notes. This episode is brought to you by the Tattoo Studio out of Muncie, Indiana, by the way. Please hold while I look up this information.
Play the music.
I did say, while I stall here, that we will be better, we being me, will be better prepared for next time, but we've been really busy, and my job does not have Wi-Fi, so I had to do
Daniel Durrett.
That's what it was. Thank you.
There we go.
Daniel Durrett.
Okay, so we had Crown Vics at Winchester for the first time, and I wanted to take my car. Sorry, my phone was vibrating. I wanted to take my car, but I'm not going to lie, you can call me names all you want, but I was kind of scared. I've only ran one race at Mount Lawn, have very limited seat time, and if you wreck a car at Winchester, it's probably done for.
Oh, dude, I went out in the wrecker with one of our friends. And that, oh my God, dude, that banking is not to be messed with, dude. Like it doesn't do it justice looking from the inside of the field or from the stands. But once you get out there, dude, and you're like going
in the infield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once you're out there doing like 50 or something, dude, it's crazy, dude. And the dude, he was like, I think the right front ball joint's about to go out on this thing. And I was like, thanks, dude. I'm in the passenger seat, just about to hit the wall. I'll be all right, you know. But no, it was, dude, out there. That was my first time at the track, and I got to go out there, dude, and it was like, wow, dude. I'm like,
crazy.
You're like almost sideways. You're just like, I'm holding on to the door,
yeah.
So I don't want to fall into the person that's right next to me. Oh my God, yeah.
I would love to do it. I think if they do it next year, I'm going to take the car out there and just send it.
I would.
So Your mom was telling me on the way over that your dad wants to go there next time they go out there. If they go out there for 400 weekend,
She was not thrilled about it.
Oh, no.
Because we went and
No.
watched it, and I'll tell you what, that thing was tense. I held my breath the whole time, but they did really
It
well.
was clean racing.
Yeah. And so he wants to go out there. I'm hoping to go out there if plans go my way next year. So I'm excited. I think we should all go. We should all have fun and not wreck.
Absolutely.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, Crown Vic's put on a pretty good show. I was
did.
excited to see how it went. I kind of was worried it would end up being a caution fest, but I think the guys that were out there knew that, hey, like, you can't race like you do normally here. Like, it's got to be clean.
They were probably like cautious because it was like the first time, and they had like limited practice, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like really limited.
They let them run mirrors, which is a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Most spotters were not allowed to run mirrors at Mount Lawn, which
Boo.
drives me crazy. But anyway, Daniel Durrett came home with the win. Easy win, by the way. Let it be known. He was just kind of out for a little Sunday cruise, it seemed like. I thought someone was going to blow their car up because it was screaming down the front stretch. I'm like, that car is like dying right now. Like, so we had the Vors mini series. Joseph Jennings ended up winning that race. Bradley Winters claimed the points championship for that.
Dude.
Then we had the Vors Compact Touring Series, their A main. Huge shout out to our boy Kyle Frame for picking up the win there. It was nice to see him in victory lane, giving us a little shout out. Appreciate him for that.
Yeah.
Man's been on a tear. He's tearing it up, and he was tearing it up last week this past weekend at Anderson.
I was going to say, damn it, I should have looked up the point standings because it's like
He's
very,
close.
very, very tight point standing right now.
And I think that's why he's so bummed about their race not happening this weekend, because that would have been a good opportunity to possibly take the lead before going into Winchester. So now I think Winchester is it.
It is, yeah.
So it's make or break at Winchester. And last year he had terrible luck at Winchester in the 400 weekend. So hopefully he can get some momentum off of... So hopefully he can carry some momentum off of his last Winchester win.
I think I got it right here. It's Chris Jennings has 715 points, and Kyle has 704.
So it's like tight.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx anybody, so I'm not going to say anything.
No.
Best of luck to everybody.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
made
not
the
saying anything.
best person win here.
Anyway, looking
Fingers
forward
crossed,
to
knock on
400
wood.
weekend. We had the CRA Jigs All-Star Tour winner, Nick Egan. Thunder Roadsters.
Forgot
Don't
last
know.
name Robbins, but I don't remember the first name, so
Don't know.
congrats.
I don't like Thunder Roadsters at Winchester.
Oh, John Robbins.
Thank you.
John
Yes.
Robbins, thank you. I don't like Thunder Roadsters.
They're
cool looking.
Yeah, but there's like only ever 5 or 6 of them out there at a time, and it's just like they get so spaced out. There's never.
There's no action.
Yeah. It's
It's like we're on mobility scooters.
they need to do that. And come on, mobility scooter races. Come on, it'll take a while, but trust me.
I think I'll catch on like the Crown Vics.
Be nice.
25 people out there on their motorized scooters.
Oh, Lord.
That'd be funny.
Hey, there's a nursing home right down the street. I'm sure we could make it happen.
Can we rent 25 of these?
Hey, Deborah, you got that scooter?
Or we just strap them all to like the chairs and we control them.
Oh, Lord.
We're just at the stands with controllers.
It'd be a fun activity for everybody. I'm sure they would
Play
enjoy
Rocket
it.
League.
I'm sure they would enjoy it.
Oh, man.
I know my grandpa would have. May he rest
Can
in
I
peace.
strap a rocket to the back of this shit?
That'd be great.
Do it.
That would be hilarious. Let's see, where we at? The CRA Sportsman winner, JP Crabtree. If you remember JP, he was the one that flipped his late model last year during the Winchester 400.
Scary.
Scary stuff. But that's the first time I've ever seen a car go upside down at Winchester.
That's the first time I've ever seen in person. I've seen it in video. The first time I've ever seen a car flip, like that kind of car flip in person.
I think I think that's the same for me as well.
Yeah.
There was one race at Anderson a couple years ago I was supposed to go to that I didn't go to, and a late model flipped. My uncle and grandpa were there, but I was not. But yeah, I think glad to see he was okay from that. That was kind of scary. I remember like looking over and seeing the bottom of the car, and I was like,
yeah.
oh.
There was a little bit off topic, but at the Little 500, like in 2017, Aaron Pierce, he wheel hopped. I think the only time I've ever seen a guy flip was a wheel hop in an open wheel.
That's why I won't race open wheel.
Oh, dude, it's so crazy because he was coming around. A dude spun out, and he came around, and I guess got delayed, told it late, and he hopped the dude's wheel and, like, down the backstretch. We're sitting on the backstretch. Down the backstretch, he just flips and, like, ends up almost down, like, halfway, just over halfway. It was...
I mean, Dakota's got a story like that probably coming up from First Responders Night at Anderson.
Oh, dude, that was wild.
Midwest Modifieds winner Greg Fullerton. I love watching Modifieds at Winchester.
So
love it.
I do too. I will say though, I meant to put this in. Terry Fisher Jr. was originally credited with the win.
Yes,
he got disqualified in post race tech, and so that's why Greg Fullerton was deemed the winner. But they did put on a good race. I
do want to give a quick shout out to all the Mount Lawn guys that started at the back of the pack of the modified race. There was a ton of them.
Yeah,
there was quite a few.
I will say real quick, since you brought that up, Jimmy, track promoter at Mount Lawn, even said Mount Lawn was well represented at Stock Car Festival. So shout out to everybody who was repping Mount Lawn.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Super late models, William Sawalich. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name.
I think so.
Donnie Wilson Motorsports?
Yep.
Of course.
Dude, he's... When I first saw him, dude, he doesn't look his age. Mm-mm. He looks... I'd say... I mean, he's like 15. He's 15, but he looks like he's like just not quite out of like he's in puberty.
Like 11?
He's
yeah.
12?
Like he's young, but he looks pretty young. Like I thought he was like 13, 14.
Really? Yeah. But dude, kudos to him, man. He's out there. He's tearing it up, dude. Donnie Wilson's got it going on right now.
Dude, their team's massive.
Like Stacy's mom.
The amount of people that they have in Victory Lane when they take pictures is absurd.
It's like a NASCAR team.
Like you have one guy that's a specialist for every nut and bolt on this car. Like that's his only job.
Every other team, dude, there's like 5 people max, and like one person covers like 4 different things.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's good money.
Street stocks, Andrew TP. I like Andrew. I'm just glad Jason didn't win.
Same. Because he was fast qualifier, I believe.
I think so.
Not a fan.
I believe you are correct. All right, Dakota.
All me, boys. All right. First Responders Night at Anderson. Street stock winner, Andrew TP.
Good buddy.
CRA late model sportsman winner, Jeff Markham. He had a pretty phenomenal race, not going to lie.
He's raced out there forever.
Oh, dude.
He's really good at Anderson.
Multiple track championships. I think he has like 8 or something, dude.
Yeah.
He's crazy good.
Kenan Midgets, Thomas Siraj. I will say this is the race that, well, it was the first heat race. I would later find out was Jackson Manseco got turned on the backstretch and flipped into turn 3. Sorry. Happened right in front of me, my mom and dad, and was terrifying. Sounded painful. It like his car was like as high as the top of the catch fence. I pulled my mom back because I don't know where this car's going. Whatever. He managed to flip from, I want to say, like damn near halfway backstretch, and ended up in the pit entrance, I should say. Terrifying.
No, it was pit exit.
Yeah, it's pit exit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, entrance is
4.
coming out of 4. Entrance. Or pit exit is
I thought it was the opposite.
3. Pit entrance is coming out of 4 because they used the crossover from the figure 8.
So I was right. Turn 4. Not turn 3. Turn 4.
Turn 4.
Where they come in at.
Pit entrance.
Yes. He landed in pit entrance.
He flipped all the way around the turn?
No.
He
started halfway.
Oh, I know what you mean. Okay,
I'm
okay.
backwards. He started flipping. I mean, it wasn't quite halfway. It was a little past halfway.
Yeah.
The backstretch. But he ended up right in front of pit entrance. No, pit exit.
There we go.
Onto the track. Where they go, where they come out of to go onto the track is where he landed.
Yes.
That's where he stopped at.
You got it.
Anyway, my mom, who's a nurse, always freaking the fuck out when they do like recovery. He threw off his own helmet and was like, fuck. Obviously I would be too. My mom was like, don't take his helmet off. I was like, he's fine. Like he's the one that did it. And anyway, later learned it was Jackson. Glad he's okay. It was a very scary accident. I know it also didn't help his points run, which he talked about in a tweet, but glad to see he's okay nonetheless. Vor's top 5: Jason Clevenger, our man Kyle Frame, Justin Brown, Chris Jennings, and Ron Sagers. Wanted to shout out 8th place finish for Bradley Winters and a 16th place finish for Travis Lee, another good friend of the show. That's all I have from First Responders Night at Anderson.
All right.
This is all you, bud.
I know nothing about this topic other than what we have covered in a previous episode. I know nothing. Nothing else was ever said.
To be fair, though, I don't think anyone outside of that circle knows what's going on.
No one. Nothing has been said.
I say, all I know is what we said before we started.
Yeah. So for those of you that do know, Cole Williams and Rackley separated due to some issue that Matt Weaver confirmed had to do with tires.
And I want to say that I will be the one to say it. I'll take the heat. I don't care. I believe the story that I heard was somebody associated with the team or Cole, I guess, stole a whole bunch of tires or somehow got tires given to him. He ended up with tires and I guess sold them to somebody associated with that team, i.e. Cole, I think is who it was. And that's what led to Rackley splitting with him.
That is not confirmed.
Not confirmed, but that's what the very small rumor mill was going around, was that somebody ended up with tires and ended up selling them to somebody associated with Cole. I don't know if it's Cole. I don't know. That's just what I've heard. That's not confirmed, so please don't sue me. I don't have money.
So, the other day, I was scrolling.
So we saw him at Lucas Oil.
Sat right next to us.
Sat very close to us. Wanted to interview him. I was like, I don't think now's a good time. But he was wearing Rackley.
He's wearing a hat.
Merch. And I was there with, I want to say with Rackley or just went to support. I don't know.
Sure. But
yeah, don't quote me on
that point,
either,
we were already like, what the hell?
Like, awkward.
Yeah. So, a couple of weeks ago, I think, I follow Cole on Instagram, and he had posted a story that was a picture of a late model at Rackley, and I sent it to AJ and Dakota, and before they got to see it, he had deleted it.
Which is odd anyway.
So I was like, Well, then I keep seeing on Twitter, he's posting, it's race weekend, Rackley's tweeting about Cole Williams is going to be in the number da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like, what happened? Because the last we knew, they were no longer associated. Cole wasn't a part of their driver program, nothing. And now all of a sudden, no word, nothing has been said. Like Dakota said, nobody outside of that circle knows. Now all of a sudden they're fine and Cole's still racing for him. So I have no idea. Are they back together for sure or?
Somebody let us know. I do want to say though, I really like nothing's confirmed what I said. So please don't sue me. I can't afford it. But I think regardless, I think it is a good thing for Cole because I think they had a great partnership. Whatever happened. Obviously, it seems like they've moved on, and have they both announced that they're back together, or it's just been subtle hints that there might be something.
I mean, Rackley's tweeting that Cole Williams is in their car.
There you go.
And
so
Cole Williams is quoting tweets saying "Race weekend, let's go." So I mean,
I think it's an odd way to handle everything, but I'm not running Rackley, and I'm not running Cole's PR. But I will say, like, I'm glad for Cole because I am a fan, and I think he is a good driver, and I think they had a good thing going. But shady, I will say.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Some stuff going on behind the scenes or something.
Mm-hmm.
I would like. It goes back to this. Nothing against Cole or Rackley, but Matt Weaver hit it on the head. That's people, and I said this before we started. People are going to talk about it for 5 minutes, and then it's going to be swept under the rug, and nobody will ever know what happened. Is it our business? No.
Yes, we're a podcast.
I mean, fair.
Everything's
yes.
our business.
Fair, but
Anything in the NASCAR world.
But it's like I
ours.
can understand that viewpoint. Like it's nobody's business, so we don't owe you the explanation. But it would be nice to know because Matt Weaver made the point that like if we don't address this and bring light to it, it's just going to keep happening.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think it would be beneficial for them to be like, this is what happened after an investigation or whatever. We learned that it wasn't the case. We just thought it happened. You know, like bullshit at that point. I don't care. But I wish it was addressed more, like Matt said. But that's just my opinion.
Absolutely.
Who am I?
Hey, guess what's coming up? The most wonderful time of the year, Winchester 400 weekend.
Yes, sir.
Which
So
also
excited.
happens to be my birthday weekend.
Oh, shit.
We're going to have a great time.
Party hardy.
I promise you that. Got our camping spots, which
Got some moonshine pickles.
was scary because Winchester had a lot of stuff happen with like social media and their ticket processing. So I didn't even think we were going to get our camping spots. Happy to report that we got both of them that we had last year. So hopefully no mud, and we
No
can get back there
RVs
just fine.
camped in our spot.
Yeah, nobody arguing that that's their spots when I have the proof. But anyway, what I would love to do is we're always going to do a pre-race show, hopefully. But
Our 1 year anniversary.
it is, isn't that exciting?
That is very
We
exciting.
made it a year. Exciting. But right now, I guess I'll just do what am I trying to say?
English is difficult.
A preview.
Today, Junior?
I will go over the schedule of events. There we go. Okay, so Thursday, disregard. Thursdays for teams. Friday, it looks like racing will start at 7. It will include the Vors Compact B main for 20 laps, the JEG CRA All-Stars for 100 laps, the Vors A main for 30 laps. Ooh, I might go to that. CRA late model Sportsman 20 laps, and the CRA Street Stocks for 20 laps. Saturday, racing will begin at 5 with the Midwest Modifieds Last Chance race. That'll be a 15-lap feature, followed by the late model Sportsman for another 40-lap feature, the Midwest Modifieds for a 50-lap feature, Thunder Roadsters for a 20-lap feature, and CRA Street Stocks for a 40-lap feature. That will be followed by a party on the concourse with Prankster Band. Sunday, October 16th, cars will be graded at 12:15, autograph session at 12:30, pre-race ceremonies will kick off at 1:30, and the green flag is scheduled to fly at 2 p.m. for the 51st annual Winchester 400 presented by Vors Welding and Steel. Very exciting.
Ooh.
Guess what's this weekend? If you're done covering Winchester.
That's it. This weekend is our big weekend.
Second annual Mount Lawn Harvest Bash.
Ooh, exciting.
It's going to be fun.
2-day event.
Yep.
Mount Lawn Speedway. The 24th and 25th. We have a all-female Crown Vic race.
We do. First of its kind in a very long time.
Oh, Dakota also has some big news.
I do. So since my racing career kicked off, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Since my racing career kicked off, I've been racing in the stock compacts, which is like beginner class, whatever. I decided that I have a okay job that pays okay. That I'm going to invest money into moving up to the pro compacts. So this will be my first weekend, my debut in the pro compacts.
His stock pro compact.
And
Hybrid.
and depending, I mean, there's no depending because I'll have to stay in that division. I can't move down, but depending on how well it goes and how well we can work on the car in the off season, I will race pro compacts more, but I may even join the VOR series. Unconfirmed. You didn't hear that here, but
Kyle Frame, you got some competition out there, bud.
no,
He's
he doesn't.
coming for you.
You have nothing to worry about.
Give us your secrets, please.
Kyle, you'll be Dylan, Kyle, and me will be the only ones to know about this joke, but you'll have no problem with me being in the way. I will know when you're there, and I'll get out of your way. So there will be no fighting about getting out of the way.
Hey, I know the joke.
Sorry, you do?
Yeah.
Did I tell you about it?
in the loop.
I was told about it Wednesday.
Sorry.
Oh.
By who? Did
Your
I tell
mother.
you? Oh, yeah. Okay, so sorry. Everybody knows the joke. It was funny. I thought there was going to be a fight. But his girlfriend was like, there's no fight. Like, I'm a woman. I'll talk it out. And this other one was like,
Oh,
"You're a
yeah,
bitch."
I remember that.
I was like, get the fuck out of the way. Like, it's not that hard. Anyway.
Dude, I was lost in that because, like, literally, I joined that when she yelled over, and she was like, "I'll beat your ass," and I'm just over here like in La La Land. I don't know what the hell's going on, dude.
Me and my mom
what?
were talking about it. We were like, Nina can kick ass.
I was like, who the hell's she yelling at? And I was like, oh.
She's scrappy, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Schedule events for our races that will begin in about 12 hours. Pit gates open at 10. Practice begins at 12:30. Racing begins at 4. Tomorrow is just heat races for all the divisions. We are sponsoring, by the way, the JW Photography Late Model Heat Race. But the Kid and Midgets will kick off tomorrow's racing with 8-lap heat race, followed by the late models, the JW Photography Stock Compacts, the Wheaton Automotive Modifieds, all-female Crown Vic heat races, Thunder Roadsters, Accelerator, Race Car Pro Compacts, and the Redbone Pizza and Chicken Crown Vics. Last I knew... Oh, no, they do have features tomorrow, too. Sorry. But last I knew, they were going to have, 16 heat races.
They said they were anticipating 16 to 18 heat races tomorrow, which is absurd.
Which is crazy.
Normally have, 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are going to be features on Saturday. Thunder Roadsters will have a 20-lap feature, followed by the all-female Crown Vic feature, which will be 20 laps. And then the Ken and Midgets will battle for 30 laps. Sunday, pit gates open at 11. Practice begins at 1:15. At 3, they will have a big wheel race and coin scramble for the children. Doesn't say anyone under 18, so I guess I could beat some kids for coin. But racing,
your 3-wheeler.
I'll be like, race me, bitch. Racing begins at 4.
Can't reach the pedals.
Any last chance races that they have to hold, it'll be a 12-lap feature. JW Photography late models will have a 30-lap feature. JW Photography Stock Compacts will have a 30-lap feature. We are sponsoring lap 3. Wheaton Automotive Modifieds will have a 30-lap feature. Accelerator Race Car Pro Compacts will have a 20-lap feature. And your Redbones Pizza and Chicken Crown Vics will battle for 100 laps.
Yeah, buddy.
Thoughts? Hey, as a driver, what's your thoughts on Sunday's events? What's your plan of action? How are you feeling? How you doing?
I got 2 different plans here. One's depending on if more than 40 cars show up, and one is if less than 40 cars show up. So Mount Lana said that if there are more than 40 cars there, they are starting a 100-lap feature with 40 cars, which is insane.
It's gonna be the whole track.
Yes.
Everything.
Bumper to bumper traffic.
The last people ain't even gonna get the green flag. Yeah, they're just gonna run into them.
And my plan may change after the first round of practice because I just changed some stuff on the car, so hopefully I'm actually firing on all cylinders this time instead of, I think, just 7.
Really? You were on 7 last time?
I believe so.
But he ran it well.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I'll pick up some time there, and if there's more than 40 cars there, my goal is to be in top 30 at the end of qualifying because the top 30 lock in, from my understanding.
Yeah, top 30 will walk in.
The rest will be in the last chance race on Sunday. And then they said something about taking the top 5 points guys that didn't make the feature, and then the top 5 from the last chance race will make the 40-car field.
Oh, okay.
So if I qualify top 30, easy. I'm not going to run my heat race, I don't think, or I might just start in the tail and just kind of cruise around, let the guys spread out, and then run some hard laps, just seat time.
Yeah.
If I don't qualify in the top 30 and I have to run the last chance race on Sunday, I am going to race my nuts off, and if I junk the car, I junk the car.
Gotta find them nuts, man. You get them.
So
I am rolling around.
We'll see. If I make the feature, I think I'm just going to roll around for the first 25, 30, 45 laps, try and save some tires, something, let these guys run their right fronts off, and save mine. So hopefully I can stay out, just try to avoid any wrecks, just hopefully the car stays together, no mechanical failures or anything like that. And
I'll say 100 laps would be definitely good seat time if you can stay out for all them laps.
I mean, I stayed out for the 50 when I was out there. The race was pretty tame.
That's what I'm going to say, though. 100 laps is going to be brutal.
For my second race ever.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, dude, going off a little bit, the Vores had that 150 lapper, which we talked about at Anderson. That was a war of attrition, too, for sure, because a lot of people fell out, and I think it will be the same.
I hope so. I mean, that's what happened during the 50 lapper. I went from 22nd to 12th. I didn't pass anybody. People just pulled off. I got past 2 people.
That are wrecked out, and I think with as much as the race is supposedly paying, it'll be a shit show. So my strategy would be to kind of ride it out and see, and then start working. I mean, 100 laps is a lot of laps to work with, so I don't think I would be racing on the first lap, but that's just me. Real quick, if you don't have anything else, have you started looking at your plans for next season? What that's going to look like yet?
Well, a lot of that depends on money situation. I'm trying to save up so I can get a truck and trailer. That way I can haul wherever. She waits until I put my phone back on the counter or the table to text me back. A lot of that depends on where I'm at there. If I can get my own truck and trailer, I will haul it wherever I want.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do have somebody that said they would haul it for me if I just pay their way into the pits. So if I'm not financially in a situation to have my own means of transporting my car, I will utilize that.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I would like to race at more than just Mount Lawn. I will never take my car to the speed room. I'll try Anderson.
Why not the speed room?
I hate the speed room.
Just don't like the track, or just like
I
the
don't
people?
like the people that race there.
Oh yeah.
I think it's more of an atmosphere / reputation for me.
Yeah.
Not my stuff.
They just beat the crap out of everything.
Oh, dude, all the cars I see out there, I mean, it's good racing, but they're usually all beat up. Yeah, like you said.
They leave the track looking like there was a demolition derby sometimes.
Like, I'll see people, like, I'll look on, like, Facebook Marketplace, like, looking for something, and somebody will be like, oh, I raced this at the speed room, and I'll look at the car, and I'll just have, like, rubber and shit all up the sides, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys, what'd you do?
Right.
Yeah. You just side by side the whole race? Like,
I want to run Winchester next year. I'd like to run Shady Bowl. They just ran Crown Vics up there. I don't know. I'd like to travel. I want to try it on dirt so bad. I really want to.
I would love to take my car out, like Circle City or.
Yeah.
I know. I know Vors used to go to Eldora. I don't think they do now, but they did. But that'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Racing the car at Eldora.
Excuse me.
Boy. Oh, all right. I was just curious because I know we still have one race left, but I'm like focused on next season.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I hope it all
You've
works
got a
out.
long off season.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to do everything you're talking about doing,
Yeah.
it's going to be a long. I mean, it's going to fly by because you have so much to do. But
my goal, I doubt this happens, but my goal is to tear that bitch down to the frame and put new parts and stuff on. But I don't know. We'll see.
were you planning on upgrade? Oh, I think you already talked about it. Planning on upgrading the engine and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, but I'm in the same boat as everyone else. But
yeah,
are you going to do what Kyle did and document everything? Like, are you going to tear it down? And
I will say again,
I like that idea.
I do.
I love.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know though because I think about like doing stuff at the track, making content at the track. I'm like, sounds great, and then you get there and you're like, what the there's just no time. It's rush.
That's something I never realized as a driver.
Yeah,
the difference between helping somebody in the pits and being a driver is like time moves so much slower as like when you're helping somebody. Whenever you're the one getting in the car and buckling in, it's like you get out, you rest for 15 minutes. Like, oh, your second practice, let's go. And it's like, dude.
I say I haven't been in those shoes yet.
Not yet.
But oh, dude, it's always a blast, dude. Coming out there to Mount Lawn or Anderson or Shady Bowl, Winchester, list goes on and on, dude. It's great. I mean, it's been fun.
Well, I got nothing else, boys.
I'm good.
No, I'm just fine. Ain't got nothing else either.
I was like, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going
to say sir.
Last.
Yeah, I mean, I got a new job and all this stuff, so my schedule's been shifted up, and I've been able to. I get off earlier now, so I'm able to actually go home and
it's
chill.
Nice,
and
isn't
then,
it?
Yeah,
I'm getting used to it still too. Because I used to work 3 to 11s.
Oh god, dude, that meaty. No.
Yeah. Alrighty, well.
All right, everybody. Well, we are soon to be off to Mount Lawn Speedway for the weekend, early tomorrow morning.
T-minus 12 hours.
And, yeah. So we'll hope to get the schedule back up weekly. We got some plans coming up. I know Dakota's been...
Listen, it may not seem like it, but behind the scenes, I've been busting my ass on some exciting shit that I haven't even shared with Jarrett and AJ yet. Bear with me. Stay with me. It'll all come out eventually. I promise.
Yeah, so
that's what I say when I'm on the toilet.
Oh, boy.
That's good.
We might have to have 4 hosts.
Honestly.
I'm ready to sign.
Absolutely. But anyway, thanks for hanging with us. We're sorry for taking such a long break. Like we said, life just kind of got busy for all 3 of us, and we're making it happen the best we can. So It's almost racing off season for us, so we'll hope to get back in action